Oh, motion.
No, just straight mobilization. If we're doing an anterior mobilization, which motion are we trying to increase? Okay, extension.
External rotation?
External rotation. Okay.
Dude, it's the same as the hip.
The same as the hip. It's all the same as the hip, guys. It's the same kind of mobilization.
No, yeah, extension.
Little Pee-wee Herman.
Thank you very much.
Flexion.
Okay, so the great thing about the shoulder is, number one, it weighs a lot less than the leg. Okay? So we can use that to our advantage. If we need to, because we've got a large arm or it's difficult to control or anything like that, then we can change position. But on your average person, you're probably going to be able to do an anterior, a posterior, and an inferior, also known as a caudal glide, in one position, all in the same position, which is fantastic. Okay, and that position is supine. Yep, lie on your back there.
Keep in mind on your mobilization grades too, because there's so much laxity in the shoulder, you're going to be able to move that humeral head a greater amount and still be within a grade 2 compared to something like the hip, because the capsule is so much tighter that you'll meet resistance through a lesser distance when you do those.
Okay. So for our open pack position, what do we have? 50 degrees abduction, right?
Very specific.
And then 30 degrees horizontal adduction. So about like this. Okay? So we'll get them in this position, and then you're going to pinch their arm between your arm and your body, and that's going to give us our little distraction as I just kind of turn, just like the ankle. Just going to turn out a little bit, and I get my distraction. And then with my other hand, I know where his femoral head is, right? Should be able to find that pretty easily. I'm going to take and put my palm right over the anterior aspect, or not femoral head. The overall head. I mean, it's a big arm. It's like the equivalent of somebody else's leg. Okay, so I give that distraction, and I'm going to apply. Oh, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be doing anterior glide, aren't I? I'm just going right into posterior glide because this is the position I normally go. Okay, so we're going to do posterior glide first. Okay? So, what motion am I trying to increase then with posterior glide? Flexion and
internal rotation.
Fantastic. Okay. So I've got them in this position. I'm going to take my hand or my palm, kind of that. I just forgot the name of it. Hypothenar eminence, though. Okay. Hypothenar eminence, which is this guy right here. I'm going to place that on the humeral head. God, yeah, I had it right. All right, this time. Second guessing myself. And then I'm going to take up the slack that Craig was kind of talking about, right? I can apply a little bit of pressure. And I'm kind of taking up the slack that might be in there. And then I can get into my grade 1, grade 2. And I can really get into some tissue resistance in my grade 3 and 4, right? But we're going to just focus on that grade 1. So I'm taking up the slack by applying enough pressure to get through the musculature, but also, because we've got a little bit looser joint to begin with, got a little bit more play in it, right? So I can take up that slack, and then now I'm in that grade 1, which again doesn't feel like much. I'm still being effective. Okay. With an anterior glide, I'm going to actually come on the other side in this position. Now I'm going to pinch again his arm up against between my arm and my body, like that. And if needs be, I can come underneath and you can just relax and put yourself in a more comfortable position. Usually I can pinch pretty good and I got good control of his forearm, so it's going to be flopping around too. And I'm going to take my lower hand, I'm going to come right up in his armpit. Okay? And the other one I'm going to wrap around on the superior portion of his humerus. Okay? so I'm going to come just off of his acromion process. Pinch here, again, kind of lean back and get my distraction. Long arms. Get that distraction, and then with my fingers underneath, I can give an anterior mobilization. Okay? So that's one way we can do an anterior mobilization. Another way that we can do an anterior mob is by having him prone, which I'll show here in just a second. But before we do that, what if I want to do a caudal glide or an inferior glide? What kind of motion am I just showed you? Abduction. I'm trying to increase abduction, okay? For an inferior or a caudal glide. Okay, caudal just meaning toward the feet. Okay. Going to get him in that same position, but now instead of bringing this hand right up into his armpit, I'm just going to hold it on his, or hold his humerus, and then with my other hand, I'm going to come find that acromion process, just drop right off of it, so I'm still right up against it, but I'm on the humeral head now instead. And I'm going to get my arm into in line with the treatment plane, or the direction I'm going to go, and just push straight inferior. And that's my inferior or caudal glide. Okay? Now if I want to, again, if I have a big arm, I want to do an anterior glide. I'm going to actually have him flip over prone. And as he rests his arm, look what just happened. What position am I in now? Open back position. He's in that 50 degrees, 55 degrees of abduction, and then he's fallen into about 30 degrees of horizontal adduction. Yay! Okay? But then I'm going to, again, pin him up against my leg, get that slight distraction, find that humeral head, get through all that posterior stuff, as far as musculature and everything. And he's already kind of gone into a slight anterior mobilization. So really just kind of hanging like this, just me going through the slack, the schleck sometimes, that might be getting into grade 1 already. And so all I have to do is essentially let off the slack and then get through it again, and I'm doing a simple grade 1. And then I can get a little bit more into it and do grade 2. Just because gravity's helping me out with that one. Okay?
This feels much better
Than that, yeah.
supine.
I prefer that, but if your patient can't get prone, then you can still do it without anterior. I think that's all for the shoulder.